Hi, I'm Sue.
I'm Mel, and this is Manifesting with Mel and Sue. Today's topic is SATS.
SATS, yes. So what is SATS? SATS stands for State Akin to Sleep. And this is a manifesting technique that was taught by Neville Goddard. And basically what it means is to get in a very relaxed state. You want to take a lot of really slow, deep breaths, and you want your body to be very comfortable, basically so that your body is like on the verge of sleep and your mind is quiet and still. And what that does is that it quiets your conscious mind so that you can saturate your subconscious mind with your desire. And so is the way that Neville taught the visualization in SATS, he would explain that you would want to imagine a scene that's very short, maybe like 3 to 5 seconds long, a scene that would imply that you have your desire. So whatever it is, so like if you're manifesting a job, you might imagine someone just congratulating you on your new position. Or if you were manifesting a new car, you might imagine yourself driving your new car home. Anything like that, a really short scene. And what you would do is you would imagine that scene, that you are in it, that you are living it, and you are experiencing it in very vivid sensory detail. So what does that mean?
So sensory detail is you want to get as many of your senses involved as possible. So you want to not only see it in your mind's eye, but you want to smell the smell. So if you're in a new car, what does a new car smell like? If you're not sure, go to a dealership and test drive your car. That kind of has always helped me with trying to get an idea of what it looks like or what it feels like. Smell the new car smell. See what it would look like. What's the scenery driving home? How does the steering wheel feel? How do the seats feel? Are the windows down? Is it blowing, warm air on your skin?
Yeah.
Is it the sun shining on your face? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? You want to get as many of your senses involved as possible. If you can get all of them, that's awesome.
Yeah, like tasting the steering wheel or something. But yes, exactly. You want to involve as many senses as possible. So what that does is it makes your subconscious feel like you're really there. It feels real.
Exactly.
You want to feel it real to your subconscious, and then you want to loop the scene. So you want to imagine that short scene over and over and over again as many times as possible, preferably until you fall asleep. Because then when you are on the verge of sleep, that's when your subconscious is most receptive. And then that just puts you into that state of being in the car. You're literally driving that car in your imagination. And then you're falling asleep in that state. And so it's going to impress on your subconscious. And I really think that as far as manifesting goes, any technique that you do, if you do it right in that state or very close to that state, is going to be far more effective than if you're doing it throughout the day and you're battling your doubts or you're thinking about other things, or you can't really get immersed in the scene in the same way.
So before bed, is that the only time you can do SATS, or are there other times you can do them?
So no, you can do it anytime. I think that ideally for SATS to be effective, state akin to sleep, you want to be in a really quiet meditative state. So best to be like sitting down, laying down.
So probably not while you're driving your car.
Not while you're driving, but you can do visualization anytime.
Yes.
So, visualizing, it's the same as SATS, only you're not on the verge of sleep because you need to be awake.
Exactly.
So you can visualize anytime. And another thing that I want to say in regards to SATS is it doesn't have to be a visualization. So another method that Neville talked about using during SATS, during a state akin to sleep, is lullaby method. So what that means is just repeating an affirmation over and over again as you fall asleep. And that works well for blanket affirmations or umbrella affirmations like everything is wonderful, or everything in my life is perfect, or it's all done, or all problems are solved. That's a great one. That's one I've been doing recently because it puts you in this really great state of relief or gratitude. Exactly. And that's a great state to fall asleep in.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. And another thing too, if you have troubles with visualization, don't freak out, don't panic. I mean, you hear that as a technique a lot. Don't panic because you're not the only person who can't visualize. There are people who just don't have the ability to do so, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're broken or your subconscious isn't working right. Just some people can't, and that's okay. So you use your affirmations, and anytime that you're in SATS, it doesn't have to be a visual. It can, like she said, it could be an affirmation. You just want to be impressing what works for you on your subconscious, and that's the I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It's when your subconscious is most open and responsive to it, and like she said, your conscious is kind of like on the back burner.
So actually the subconscious is always open and receptive. It's picking up everything all the time.
Exactly.
But you're right about the conscious mind is gone to sleep, so it can't interfere. So that's the great part. And another thing that I want to say, going back to your point about not being able to visualize, affirming is a great thing to do, but also there are other things you could do. So one of the things that I like to do, because I'm good at like recording things and I use a lot of audio, like I do subliminals and stuff. I also make my own hypnosis recordings, and I record hypnosis audios that I can listen to as I fall asleep. And that's been very effective for me. I have a money hypnosis that I used
that
and
one is awesome.
Manifested money with, which is great. But yeah, you can record your affirmations in an app on your phone and then just play them and listen to them as you fall asleep. And anything that's going to put you in that state, listening to love songs if you're manifesting love, we've talked about that before, but anything that you do at bedtime when you're drowsy, putting you in the right state is going to be ideal. I think that it would be in everybody's best interest to really pay attention to what you are consuming media-wise before you fall asleep at night. What state are you falling asleep in every single day? If you put yourself into your ideal state every day, then that's going to impress on your subconscious. If you're falling asleep, when I was married, I used to fall asleep watching true crime shows. So the last thing that would go into my brain before bedtime was murder and mayhem. I don't do that anymore.
No.
So just be very aware of what you are impressing on your subconscious. There may be a reason why I was having a lot of bad dreams back then.
That's so true, though. People don't realize that the music that they listen to, the TV, reels, anything that you're listening to is being impressed. Your subconscious is taking all of it in. And I think we talked about that in a previous video. Just us sitting here right now, just visually, we can see the camera, we can see what's on the counter, we can see our phones, we can see each other. Smell, we can smell flowers, we can smell fresh air. Sound, whatever sounds are in the background, and you're not even aware of everything. I believe I heard something like, 165 million pieces of information are processed through your subconscious every second. I don't know, it's like some astronomical number, but it's a lot. And we filter most of it out, but what do you
consciously we do, subconsciously we don't, right?
No, it's all being taken in.
So that's a great point where you should kind of be aware of like, what are you putting into your brain all the time? What are you paying attention to? Like not just at bedtime, but all day long. I mean, I don't think we need to be completely anal about like censoring everything that we consume, but just be aware of like, what are you focusing on the majority of your time? Are you focusing on bad news? Are you focusing on things that stress you out? Or are you focusing on things that relax you and make you happy and bring you joy? And I think, as I said before in other videos, what you focus on is what you manifest more of in your life. So put your attention on the things that you want and not the things that you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't realize that where their focus is, and so when you do become aware, it can be a little bit scary at first. Like I know when I started realizing, and I was already an aware person anyway, I was very aware of a lot of things, but there's some things we still miss. And when I started becoming aware of that, I was like, oh my God, this is not good.
But now you have the awareness that you can change it, right?
Exactly. And I have, and I affirm, manifesting is easy. I affirm, if and I don't, like hyper dwell on things. I'm not like hyper focused on, I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm manifesting all these bad things because I'm focused on bad things. I would just be like, oh, I manifest easy, or I only manifest good things. And I wouldn't affirm it a ton because I knew I only needed to, like, oh, that's just how I am. I just manifest easy. I just only manifest good things. And when you do that, I think sometimes having that mindset, for me anyway, has made manifesting quicker, because I'm like, oh, this is how this works.
Mm-hmm.
And so my subconscious mind is like, well, she's not really arguing with it, so that must be how it is, and that's how it is.
Nice. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So I think that wraps up SATS. Do you have any other comments or anything? No?
No, I think that's it.
So if anybody else has any questions or comments, please drop them in the comments below, and like, share, and subscribe.
And don't forget, go out and manifest that dream life.